Is your life so hectic and busy that you need to be in two places at once? My name is Candace Sanderson, and I welcome you to this podcast where we talk about such topics as bilocation or even trilocation, being in different places at the same time. Let's look at something everyone does: dream. When we are dreaming, we go somewhere and we interact with others. I have a question. Where is your physical body when you dream? Obviously, it's where you left it when you fell asleep. In bed, on the couch, maybe stretched out on a blanket on the beach with an open book or a magazine on your chest. Wherever your body is, rest assured, pun intended, that it is in sleep mode, conserving energy, restoring itself. But the dream, who is in that environment? That is you also. It is your non-physical self, your energy body. There are so many words for this: soul, spirit, etc. But it is a non-physical aspect of you. But let me reverse that, because reversing it is closer to the truth. It's a more accurate description that your 3D body is a physical aspect of who you really are, which is non-physical. Our physical body serves as an avatar for the real you to participate in this energy-dense environment on Earth. I digress. Let's go back to dreaming. As you dance through the landscape of your dreams, it feels real. The wind in your face, the ground beneath your feet, the emotions, the interactions you have. It feels real because it is real. Your awareness, your consciousness, is in that dream, actively doing whatever it is that it's doing. It has taken a break from the heavy 3D world, and now it moves freely outside of time and space. With this example, we see that dreaming allows you to be in two places at one time. The physical body sound asleep in the 3D, while the non-physical body is very active in the dreamscape. Now that we understand how your awareness splits during dreams, we have set the premise, laid the foundation. Let's make this more real and bring it to the 3D waking life. Back in the day when I attended college, I was a great student. I would sit in the front row, take copious notes, and then transcribe them each night at home. The reason I sat so close and wrote every word the instructor said is because it kept me on task. If I did not do that, my mind would drift and I would be writing a grocery list or maybe just doodling. But sitting close and writing the instructor's every word was a technique that kept me focused. Let me describe a scene that you too might find familiar. You're sitting in a classroom lecture on a subject that really does not hold your interest. Then from a distance, you hear your name. You might sit up a little bit taller and look around. When you see your classmates looking at you realize the instructor must have called your name, and probably more than once. You then respond, but you have no idea what's going on. It's like you have dropped in the middle of a conversation. You are lost. This is an example of split awareness. So much of your awareness was elsewhere that you had to reorient yourself back into the physical 3D setting. This also happens to me during conversations. My physical body is there, but my mind is elsewhere, making a to-do list or planning tonight's dinner, thinking about bills I need to pay, daydreaming. And that is such an appropriate name because, like dreaming when we are asleep, our non physical self drifts from the physical environment. Our awareness within the physical body during daydreams is in a lighter version, of course, than the sleep mode of nighttime dreams. In daydreams, we are alert enough to sit in our chairs or to stand during a conversation with our eyes open. We look aware, but our awareness is not at that level of full wakefulness. To wake from a daydream is like waking my Apple Watch, a quick flick of the wrist and it's back online. To wake from nighttime dreaming, however, it's like my laptop. I have to take a few more steps, like entering a password to return to that original awake and alert status. But these steps of waking are a matter of degrees. Realizing that is key to managing them so that we can fully function in multiple places simultaneously. We can program ourselves to balance between these states by shifting our awareness just a couple of degrees until there is equal awareness in multiple places. Back in graduate school, we talked about JNDs, just noticeable differences, very tiny movements. I talk about this more in depth in my OBE series on how to maintain and shift awareness. But when we learn to control this balance, we realize we can engage our daydreams while still being attentive to a 3D conversation or a classroom lecture, just as we can when we have a lucid dream at night. We just have to find those correct adjustments to allow us to nudge to finely tune our sleep mode controls. Let's take a deeper dive into the degrees of awareness and look at dreaming during sleep. Some people have learned to partially awaken when dreaming. We want to maintain a balance between wakefulness and sleep without waking up. This balance, when we achieve it, is called lucid dreaming, when the dreamer becomes aware that they are dreaming. Back to awareness. That is key. We discover that we no longer aimlessly wander or drift during sleep. We don't have to. Instead, we can take control and go where we choose. Once the lucid dreaming state is achieved, we can direct our awareness elsewhere in the dream. Just like a director in theater or on a movie set, we can introduce new scenes, even new actors. We can jump forward in time, or we can drop into the past. If something occurs during the dream that we really don't like, we can yell cut to stop the action, and then we can start again in a different direction. We can do anything we wish because we are empowered. We are in control. There is a skill set involved in lucid dreaming. If you stop while in the middle of a lucid dream and you look around, you might just realize something. There's all this action going on. But how is it that you can perceive it? Why are you seeing this instead of something else? It's like watching a movie or a television program. And then there's an aha moment. You look around and you realize there is a camera and someone is behind that camera, recording and observing everything in the dream. We are seeing the dream through that lens. That person, that awareness behind the camera, is the one who's in charge. They're the ones responsible for what I see in my dream. And this is where the power comes from. It's time to hit the pause button. This takes me back to my series on psychic tools and OBEs. I've often used a camera as a psychic tool, so this is no different. I can go to that huge movie set camera, find the pause button, tap it, and then I've suspended all action. Okay, I hear many of you saying, "What? What do you mean hitting the pause button?" You can go back to that series. Under the playlist tab on my YouTube channel, you'll see that whole series on OBEs and psychic tools. But a closer look in that lucid dream reveals that the person behind the camera that you just noticed is you. You are the camera person. You are the observer. And who are you observing? Yourself. Okay, at this point, I must be careful and tread cautiously. I tiptoe around the scene because I don't want the physical me to wake up. Like a tightrope walker in a circus, small movements can have dire consequences. So I simply pause and rest. I use my go-to in this situation, deep breathing. Taking a few deep breaths helps me maintain stillness that I require to balance. In this in-between state, something magical happens. Everything expands, including time and space. I relax. Continuing with that tightrope walker image, I can look down, and that razor thin tightrope now expands to the size of a sidewalk. Whew, that takes the pressure off. I now become fully aware of my dual roles as both the observer and the participant. I also know that my consciousness is in that sleeping body, and that part I want to keep resting peacefully. In case you're counting, that makes 3 roles. Try locating. Like on a movie set, I am the director. When I realize that, I step into my power. I engage my creativity. I change a few things in the scene. It might be something as simple as the color of a wall. Maybe I'll change a picture on the wall. But once I do these small things, I can move on to larger changes. With the camera, I can pan back and see the rest of the house or the block or the city. I might see a nearby stream and decide that would be a better place instead of inside a building. With just a thought, the scene reopens where I have placed my intentions through my thoughts. I start the process by engaging my imagination, like a scene out of a Pixar movie. The surroundings magically materialize. It can be so much fun, so I encourage you to play around with this. Keep your balance, though, while you direct your dreams with your thoughts. We're using the T formula, TEA, thoughts, energy, action, that my messengers have shared with me. Your thoughts are energy, and when you fuel them with positive intention, the actions follow. You are learning to split your attention between the observer and the participant in the dream. It doesn't have to be one or the other. When balanced, you can be equally in both places at once. Learn to freeze frame actions while other actions are ongoing. Do not go into total sleep mode and do not go into the full awake mode. Instead, simply pause. Breathe into that role of observer, giving it more energy, more life. Rise above so you can see your 3D self, whether you're asleep or in a daydream. You also see that your non-physical self in the scene, again, whether it's a nighttime dream or a daydream. And when you remember you are the observer, and that observer has their fingertips on the control button, then you can shift between the different yous. Or you can have separate you cameras operating simultaneously. It's up to you. Like a slider button on a stereo volume, which, by the way, is one of the tools on my psychic dashboard, again, referring back to my OBE series. You can slide your awareness from one place to another while keeping all of yourselves activated. You recognize that your attention is needed in the classroom, so you slide a little more awareness there so you won't be caught off guard by a question from the instructor. What if you're in a dream that bothers you? Have the director, your observer, slide your awareness deeper into the dream so that you can change scary clowns or whatever into lovable puppy dogs. You can actually do that from the point of view as the experiencer or the observer. Play around. You are the one in control. You can change anything you wish. Take back the power that you have and you've always had. Let it work for you. Be strong, be kind, be compassionate. Treat others the way you would like to be treated. And do that whether you are in the 3D, stuck in traffic, in a daydream, or in a dream while sleeping. Whether it's nighttime dreaming, daydreaming, or simply navigating life's ups and downs, know that you are an infinite being of light with no limitations except the limitations we put on ourselves. Learn to tap into that inner wisdom that allows us to navigate life with wisdom. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Feel free to subscribe, to share, to comment, and to follow my work. Remember the importance of kindness, and after all, isn't that the ripples we want to cause instead of negativity? We are energy beings. Bring forth your brightest and your best self. Until next time, goodbye.